focus.
Am I tripping? Or am I tripping? I have seen more white guys with black girls. Am I tripping? Or the white guys like got it to a point where they're like, huh, okay, y'all black dudes don't wanna, take y'all, black queens, y'all wanna go to the snow bunnies. Now we gonna jump on y'all black queens. I feel like the white dudes have stepped up to the plate. I'm going off of my observation. I've seen a lot of white guys taking black girls right now. You feel me? Or the black girls taking the white guys. Because these black dudes, they have converted to the other side. This is my observation right now because I know I've seen a lot of it. I've been even taking photos, like snap, just to add it up for the week. Like, damn, white guys. Or am I tripping? I have seen more white.
Basically, in that video, he talks about how he's seen more white guys with black women today he's ever seen before. I want to give a little bit of insight. The way that you get treated by a white man completely different from how you get treated by a black man. White men will actually date you, like take you out on dates, like fancy dinners and stuff. I've noticed that with some black men, they tend to put a little bit less effort into dates. Yo, like come kick back at the crib. Let's ball up in the basement. White men will also take you a lot seriously, a lot quicker. They'll want to tie the knot as opposed to black men. They tend to take their time, and sometimes you could be with a guy for 10 plus years and he won't even propose then. And will also take the load off of you being a partner in the relationship. Sense where they'll treat you like a lady and have a little bit less expectations when it comes to financial and just in every which way. Black men, I realize it's really 50-50. Now, I understand that relationships aren't always 50-50, but I will say that I just noticed with white men, they just put a lot more effort. I have the ability to sit more into my feminine energy. This doesn't go for everybody. Every race is gonna have some good and some bad. Ladies, if you have never tried it, consider going for it. Love my black brothers, but at the end of the day, homegirl's trying to walk down the aisle one day. Statistically speaking, this is not me. Black men are the least most likely to propose. Again, this is not for everybody because damn, are they sexy. It's all about what you want in your life.
Be aware that I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, but I am so effing tired of the amount of emotional labor that comes with dating black men. I am so tired of the lack of commitment, the lack of support, the lack of encouragement, the lack of money. Like, I don't know what to do from this point on, but I can tell you one thing. My interest in dating another black man is like 1% at this point. They want us to be ride or dies until they get their shit together. And then they don't want to support us in return. They don't want to commit to us. They don't want to marry us. But then they want all the benefits of being a husband without actually proposing to us. I need someone who's intentional in every single aspect.
I went on the worst date of my life last night, and I got catfished before. So if this is the worst date of my life, that said a lot. First of all, I tell my homegirl, I'm like, I really don't feel like going on this date. And she like, girl, he just graduated PA school. He is a doctor. You're going on this date. I tell him I do not like bars. I like hookah bars, hookah lounges, but I don't like bars. That's not my vibe. He takes me to a bar, and immediately I'm like, and he's like, oh, is this not your vibe? Let's go somewhere else. And we end up at a place that I know, a spot that I know that I like. Immediately, he puts his arm around me and starts taking pictures with me like I'm his wife, like I'm his woman. Mind you, this is my first time meeting this man. He is literally taking pictures of me, with me. So I'm annoyed, and I'm like looking at him like, that's weird. And he's like, what's weird? I said, it's weird that you're taking pictures of me and with me. I don't know you like that. Like, I don't. Homeboy has an attitude. He's just like, oh, that's weird? Okay. Okay. Like, he's big man. Like, big man. So the man comes to take our order for drinks. I order my drink. My go-to is lychee martini. So I order it. Then he doesn't know what he wants. So my drink comes out and he's like, oh, can I taste? I'm like, sure. And there's no straws, so he's like mouth to glass on my drink. So he's like, oh, this is really good, and orders the same exact thing. So of course when his drink comes out, I'm like, here, you take my drink, I'll take this one. I think that's fair, y'all. I personally think that's fair. But homeboy is even bigger mad. Like, he wanted me to drink off of his mouth, and I don't know why. So I'm just feeling uncomfortable. It's just weird. Conversation's going, but he's just doing too much. So by now his words are slurring. He's a little tipsy. He's like on his second, third drink. Words slurring. He's asking me the same questions that he not only asked me through text, but asked me literally 2 minutes ago. And I'm just like, it's time to go. So the question he keeps asking me is what type of men I like. And I continue to tell him, I already told you I like confident. Oh, I'm confident. I look good. I know I look good. And he's from New York. So if you know New York men, it's that type of New York man. Fast forward through a whole lot of uncomfortableness. He forces himself to hold my hand while we're walking to my car. 10 years later, we make it to my car, finally. He's asking me if I had a good time, if I think that we'll be able to go out to meet again. I'm not a fan of pissing men off, especially when there's no one else around, so I'm like, we'll talk tomorrow. And then he tried to kiss me.
You know, it just dawned on me that the stereotype that men settle down according to timing, not affection, is not just kind of a bit grim and unromantic, it's also fully tied to labor exploitation. There's a scene from the original Sex and the City, the series, that brilliantly captures the stereotype.
It's not fate. His light is on, that's all. What light? Men are like cabs. When they're available, their light goes on. They wake up one day and they decide they're ready to settle down, have babies, whatever, and they turn their light on. The next woman they pick up, boom, that's the one they'll marry. It's not fate. It's dumb luck.
I was reminded of this recently when I was catching up with a male friend of mine who was saying he's in his early 40s and he was saying he was ready to have kids. So I said, you know, are you therefore looking forward to having children with the person who I'd met who he was dating? He said, oh no, it's not going to be her, but the woman doesn't really matter. And I don't think he was really saying that in terms of I'm attractive, so I will attract someone I'm really into. I think he was meaning like whatever of the 50 options that tick these 12 boxes that I have, it doesn't really matter which one it is that I have children with. When men endorse the idea of timing as the most important metric, they're basically treating women as fulfillers of duties, as laborers in the domestic sphere. They're not thinking of us in terms of the respect that they have for us, the love that they have for us. They're thinking of us in terms of what we will do for them. This also reminded me of the advice to straight women that we should settle down with men who at least love us equally or who love us more. Because the amount of emotional growth in a patriarchy that is required of a man in a straight relationship, the amount of reckoning that he's going to have to do with the amount of stereotypes and treating women as laborer that he has inevitably brought into the relationship is going to require so much courage that can only come from a genuine bond, genuine love, genuine respect for his female partner. So men, could we agree that instead of focusing on timing, you could focus on finding a significant other that you really genuinely respect, that you genuinely have a loving bond with, that you have the willingness to grow with and to move through difficult times with, that you will respect her time and her labor just as much as you respect your time and your labor? That you won't see us as laborers that you should just extract a child or food from. And women, if we do meet a man whose taxi cab light is on, can we be very cautious before we agree on going for a ride? When men endorse the idea of timing as the most important.
I have so many thoughts on this topic. If you haven't seen the original creator's TikTok on this, definitely check it out. Chef's kiss. Now, as someone who's briefly dated a man with his taxi light on, I feel like I know what to look for now. And so many times I see on this app, people are asking, oh, like, how can you tell if a man is just with you because his taxi light is on? And I feel like I've got a few things, a few red flags that you can look out for because it was an experience. The first thing I noticed was that the dating process with us moved very quickly. Like, he wasn't playing around. He wasn't wasting time. And at first I thought he was just being serious and assertive. I mean, he was being serious and assertive. He was trying to get married, but it wasn't because he was trying to get married to me. He was just trying to get married, period. And I found that when we were like going on our date, he was asking very serious questions very quickly. He would be asking me like, how do you feel about marriage? Do you feel like you're ready for marriage? When do you feel like you would be ready for marriage? Like in the next 1 or 2 years, do you feel like you would be in a space to get married? Like at the time, I was just like, oh, well, he's moving very fast. It was just because his taxi light was on. I noticed that he was asking these questions as well, like before he was even asking like who I vote for. I could be a serial killer. He did not know very much about me at this point that he was talking about marriage. It was very strange. And I understand you want to kind of put your intentions out there, especially if you're like a serious person. But like there are some things you need to know before you are asking about marriage. It's such a huge commitment. And there's other things about a person that are just as important to know, actually. I also think it's really useful to ask like who their celebrity crushes are. We were just talking very organically about Channel U, if you know, you know. And then it just came up like UK girls, celebs that he had like crushes on. And not a single one of these girls was a dark-skinned black woman. And I thought, oh, you see, this is how you lot end up married to women that you hate. Another one, and this is polarizing. When you can see that a lot of their boys are getting married, for me, that might be a telltale sign that his taxi light is on. Because from what I've seen and from male friends as well, when their boys are getting married, that's their own biological clock. That's their own clock starting to go off. Obviously, we don't even subscribe to biological clocks, but that's their personal clocks going off, being like, ding, 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 ding. You're going to be the last one. No one's going to want to go to the club with you anymore. No one's going to want to go to all these day parties with you because they're going to be booed up. Da, 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 da. That is the point where they start to think, oh, I need to lock it down. Obviously, the flip side, and this can happen, is that, you know, it makes them feel a bit more seriously about relationships and, you know, emotional maturity. But from what I've seen, a lot of it is very much like tick, 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 like boom. I think the main thing is though that like if they don't know things about you and like they can't bring out things about you that are special to them, like they aren't obsessed with your character, your integrity, the things that make you you, their taxi light is just on, because it really could just be anyone. I've been very lucky to have dated men who are literally obsessed with me, who worship the ground I walk on. And I think when you've had that experience, you can tell the difference between someone who's just tolerating your presence and is just kind of like biding time until they get on one knee, they do the deed and they lock it down so that they can say, I'm a married man. One last thing. If you haven't had relationships where men have made you feel like they're obsessed with you, it's completely normal and understandable due to the current climate. I want you to think about how your best friend talks about you and how your best friend like champions you. If he ain't talking about you like that, look it off.
Story time. I went on a date with a very famous actor and it ended up being horrible. So we went out to eat at this really nice place in Miami, one of my faves. Everyone knows him. And I'm like, Lord have mercy. There's going to be no type of discretion. It was like the entire time people were in our face, looking, turning, watching. And I was like, oh, I don't know how I feel about this. Anyway, we sit down, we have our table, we order food. And I don't even know how the conversation ended up here. But he starts talking about how he hates when girls wear Fashion Nova. Meanwhile, I'm wearing Fashion Nova. And I'm like, yo. So I'm too embarrassed at this point to even say anything. At the time, I work with Fashion Nova, like as an influencer. This is back before Instagram deleted my page, but whatever. I'm feeling really cute in my outfit, but I'm like, damn, sir. So we keep talking. We keep eating. The food was so damn good. I'm trying not to eat everything because I can eat a lot and I definitely am a plate clearer, but my outfit was really tight and like a light color, kind of like a stretchy material, where I was like, yo, if we do anything after this, I'm gonna look pregnant if I keep eating, so I slow down. So we start talking about family and his family dynamics and my family dynamics, and don't know again how this comes up, but I'm talking about my father and how we don't have a relationship, blah, blah, blah. How about this man starts telling me that I need to find a way for my father and I to be cool again. Sir, do you know this man? Do you know any of the reasons why we are not cool? Do you understand that there could be so many reasons, like he raped me, dropped the G, that we're not cool? Which he didn't, but either way, there can be a multitude of reasons that I'm not with him. And he was just like, oh, you know, a lot of times people's moms don't tell you the whole story of what goes on with your dad, and then before you know it, you have animosity for him, and it's not even real. And I'm like, it's crazy to me that men will literally defend other men that they do not know whatsoever off of the strength of what's happened in their current life. So I'm just drinking more. I'm like, Lord have mercy, what is this date? And he is a little older than me, so he has that, like, I know what I'm talking about, like, slightly condescending manner that I can't stand. So I'm hitting him with a shake your head, Jess, shake your head. Because if I say how I really feel, I'm gonna flip this table and dip. So I'm just like, stay pleasant, just get through this evening. And then it gets worse. I don't know how we end up here, but we start talking about Rihanna. This man starts telling me how much he loves Rihanna, how much he wishes he could date Rihanna, how much he would just do anything for her, how he's like a super fan and all this shit. And I'm like, bruh, who doesn't want to date Rihanna? She's a baddie, she's beautiful, she's from the islands. You done know how to thing go. But can we not do that right now? Bruh. When I tell you this man went into strict and very definitive detail about Rihanna's appearance, about how classy she is, about how he felt like he would just suck her toes and just, it was insane. I knew I would never see him again after the date. I was like, yeah, this is dead. Like, we're never doing this shit again. I said to myself, it's so funny that a lot of women will think that dating men with status and dating these famous men is just gonna make life easier, when they don't realize that a lot of the times, not saying always, but a lot of the times when men have clout or they have money or they have some kind of status, they have their own crap going on in the background that you're probably going to find out about, and they just make it really hard to deal with, and they're not willing to see their own crap because in their mind they're perfect and they're a catch and you should be lucky to be here. But yeah, I never saw bro again. Negative 10 out of 10 would not recommend.
My date told me to order something cheaper than the steak.
I'm about to put some women on game and tell you something that you may have never heard. A woman's value lies in the intangible things, where a man's value lies in the tangible things. What do I mean by this? Men are providers, protectors, and professors, meaning everything that they do is more physical. The money, the protecting, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, all of that stuff. Whereas women are the nurturers. So where a woman's value lies is, how does she make her man feel? Does she uplift him with his words? Can he trust her? Is she loyal? Does she support his dreams? Does she take care of his legacy? Meaning, if he gives her a home, how does she nourish it and steward it? Women are the warmth to a man's life. A man can have a house and it can feel a little cold. When a woman comes in, she decorates it. She makes it more homey and feels good. So a woman's value lies in the feeling she brings to a man, where a man is more of the physical aspect. That's why a lot of men will tell you with money that they don't care about your money and they don't care about your degrees and they don't care about all of that stuff. Now, some men don't mind an ambitious woman. So just because you have those things doesn't mean that you're less valuable. But what I'm saying is that's not where your value lies. So if you are a woman who is solid, who is respectful, she knows how to talk to her man, she can uplift her man with her words, she can support his dreams, she does not tear him down, she creates a safe space where he can be vulnerable and lay his armor at the door. If she's not going to use his weaknesses against him, if she's going to steward what he gives her well, then you are rare and you are a valuable woman. So if you are that type of woman, understand that your standards need to be up here, because we don't know what our value is as women. So we settle for the stuff down here when you should be really aiming for the stuff up here, because every woman isn't like you. And these are earthly values, not the value that you get from you and God. God's value is more important than all of this combined, but just speaking of physical, worldly value.
I'm not doing any more talking stages. I am done connecting with people building with people, experiencing people for a short amount of time, for a temporary moment. I'm done with that. I'm actually in a place where I think I'm like done dating. Like, I don't want to date. I don't want to do this societal view of dating where everyone just dates and goes out and hangs out for fun because they're bored. I actually want to get to know someone. I actually want to be able to like someone. I'm just like, what the heck are we dating for? I'm very confused. So I don't want to date. I want to meet a man that's like, yo, I actually want to get to know you, Whitney. I really want to date you. Let's go. I want to really get to know you, Whitney. Like, come to me like that. I'm dating you. And if I'm being honest, I'm actually really bored. Like, I feel like I get really bored in the conversations that men have. I actually want to like talk about like real things. I just don't fit into the society. Like, I don't accept like men dating a bunch of women the same time as me. Like, I just want to meet one guy and connect with him and build with him, and then we'll figure out if we work out or not, and then we'll find someone else. I'm not a roster girl. I can't do it. When I like one person, I want to like him, and that's just me. And I feel like I don't fit into society's idea of dating, and I guess I really am just waiting for God to send the one that is for me, that actually agrees with me on that. Where's my tribe at? Do y'all agree with me? Let me know.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just me, but like, I feel like I'm getting to the point where I completely lose interest in dating. Like, it's just not fun. It's actually irritating and annoying. Like, I took myself out of the dating game a little while ago just to focus my energy elsewhere. But from what I'm seeing, I just feel like nobody's genuine. Everyone comes with a list of the rules and demands instead of just getting to know you. They're like, oh, you must have this, you must do that, you must come with this. Like, just mad aggressive. So many people are unhealed and they don't realize it, so they're not trying to heal. And I don't know if it's New York. I don't know if people feel like this everywhere, but dating is just not enjoyable. I don't know. It should be, but it's not. Like, I have no interest in somebody just stressing me out for no reason. Like, I have zero interest in that. But like I said, I'm trying not to get to the point where I don't even want to re-enter the game. But now something really got to give. Something got to give for real, or else we going to be old and alone, and I don't want that for myself.
Black women are single because they want to get paid for being in a relationship.
We all know black women's preference. Those people don't like to go on dates. Those people they can't afford to splurge on you. Those people are not trying to get married. They're not trying to be faithful to you in a relationship. They have a track record of abandoning their children. So a woman who's engaging with those type of people, she says, how can I come up? I'm giving him my body. I'm giving him my time. How can I get anything back? And she requires money. And he still refuses to provide even that. So this chronic singleness is self-imposed because there are men who understand the assignment. Black women are more loyal to these type of people than they are themselves, because there are plenty of men of other cultures, of other races, who have no problem giving you what you want without all the pushback. So black women want to be loyal to black love, and black men, this is what they get. This is what they get, and they deserve it.
Fellas, I don't know if you are intentionally or subconsciously being confused by what we mean when we say we would rather stay single, but it's not because we don't want a relationship. It's not because we don't want companionship, partnership. The problem is, why would we get into a relationship specifically with a man when it does not improve the conditions of our lives, or at the very least maintain the status of life that I currently provide to myself? Why? So if I'm financially stable, emotionally stable, if I go to therapy, if I have taken the time to build a genuine connection with people around me, a community, why I want a relationship with a man who has not even taken steps to improve his own life, but want to be in a relationship with me? Why?
I'm actually working on my first single release, everything like that. I've been producing, I've been around big.
Oh, you make music? Okay.
Yeah, I just started.
Can I hear something?
Yeah, I mean, my first song, it's called Snow Bunny Hunter. Basically, it's about my love for white women and everything like that. Like, my mom didn't immigrate here from this country for me not to be with a white woman, you know? That's the way, that's the way I see it. Right? So, yeah, I can show you a little bit of it right now. First part of it. it's not that bad. I think it could go fucking platinum, you know? For my first song, it's not that bad. It's not that bad at all. Like, the body's a temple, and who you share your body with is one of the most important things ever, especially as a girl, right? Freaking, what's your body count, by the way? Like how many kills do you have? I'm at like, honestly, like 100, 120. I just be out and about doing my thing. You know, as a guy, I feel like it doesn't matter as much. You know, you got to be more charming, captivating, and funny. But like, yeah, how many do you have?
A lot less than that.
Around a range?
Under 10.
Under 10? That's under 10 too much, you know? Jesus fucking Christ.
Okay. Can we get the check? I have to go home. Like, my stomach kind of hurts.
Story time on the worst date ever. I deleted my Hinge account after this. I highly don't recommend. So I met this guy on Hinge, and at first he was pretty cool. We messaged for a few days. And so finally he was like, you know, let's go on a date. Let's go bowling. So I was like, okay, cool. We can go bowling. I'll just meet you there. So he was like, all right. This is when I knew, this is when shit turned left extremely quick, and I should have known this was a red flag. This man literally went on my Instagram from like years ago and took an old picture of me in some dang on heels and a hat and was like, hey, can you wear this to the bowling alley? So he's like, you know, I think this picture is fly. You know, you got on heels, you got on a hat, and I want you to be fly. Like, I think you should wear that. And I'm like, I don't even know where this outfit is. This is years ago. I haven't worn this outfit in forever, and we're going bowling. I want to be chill. I want to wear some sneakers and some jeans or something. Steadily pressing me about this outfit. We going back and forth, and I'm just like, boy, I'm wearing what I want. So anyways, you know, I end up meeting him at the bowling alley, and I see him. I walk up to him, I'm like, hey, what's up? Like, how are you? I'm Ariel. And the first thing he does is he says, you're really short. Straight like that, he looked me up and down. No, hey, no, how you doing? Nice to meet you. He said, you're really short. And then he walked away and he was like, I'm gonna go get some shoes. Instantly, I'm turned off because I have never in my life had a man tell me that I was short and complain about it. Usually men like it, but instantly I'm like, oh, I'm so turned off. And I know how this is gonna be. So we go get the shoes and we find our lane, and dude has an attitude off jump. He's like, you could have came in here looking fly. Like, I like my girls to look fly, and that's not fly what you got on. So I'm just looking at the dude. I'm not saying nothing. The dude from New York, so he was already pretty, like, aggressive. And so he, like, asking me questions like, where you from? Where you grew up at? Real aggressive. I'm like, bro, what's wrong with this man? Like, kind of acting crazy. And so then he goes on back on a tangent about how short I am. He's like, you real short. Like, you just real short. So finally, I'm like, okay, so what? Like, men love that I'm short. And he's like, yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it at all, actually. And like, I'm throwing the ball or whatever. And he's like, you're not really good at this. Like, you suck. You're not good at bowling at all. And he like snatches the ball from me. So at this point, I'm like low-key scared. So I end the day early. I'm like, okay, it's time for me to go home. Like, I got a long day tomorrow. I got to get up because it was in the middle of the week. And so I get home, and before I get a chance to block him, because that was my intentions, he calls me. And he's like blowing up my phone and he's asking me to come over. And I'm like, oh yeah, this dude is mentally insane. I blocked him and I deleted my Hinge, and I never got back on Hinge after that. It scarred me for life. But also, I was like nervous to go on dates because I was thinking that men was gonna think I was too short. So I didn't go on dates for months after that. Now I'm in a happy relationship, so it doesn't even matter anymore. So yeah, just be careful on Hinge.
Yeah, I mean, you're never going to, like, beat the market buying individual stocks. There's very few hedge funds every year that even beat the S&P 500, which is, like, the main index for the...
There are men out here that go on dates just to hear themselves talk. They have zero interest in getting to know who you are or actually having a conversation like you would on a first date. And their strategy is to use random women and dating as a method to provide them a platform to go on and on about what they care about with no input provided. They could not care less about who you are, what you have to say, your thoughts, or your opinions. They would really sit there with you for over an hour and go on and on and on and on about topics that you did not ask for, that is clearly not engaging. You are zoning out, but like I said, they do not care at all. And once they feel satisfied and content on what they had to tell you, they will end the date and go, wow, this is really great. I would love to see you again.
I'm starting a revolution where we don't find our significant other on dating apps.
I've actually never met anyone from a dating app in real life. And I'm actually not on any dating apps except for Raya. And I'm not even really paying attention there. But I do date. So let me tell you a couple of places that I've met the people that I've dated as a Black woman in my 20s, born and raised in and living in New York City. The obvious answer is out. In New York, those places for me have been like parties like in bars like Last Lap, Buttons World Famous, Ode to Babel, Cafe Razuli. Though if he's at Cafe Razuli, 99% chance he is not serious and you should not take him seriously. Also just like general parties like the Yellow Party, Jinja, like those sorts of things. When you follow DJs, you know what functions to be at and you might meet people there. Second category is abroad. I know I've kind of made myself the spokesperson for Ghana in December, but I genuinely meet people. I think a whole bunch of melanated people from both the UK and the US, and they are like abroad in Ghana and like kind of coming with the same energy. The first year I went, I met somebody, and the next month I got flued out and went to the Super Bowl. Another one is in my building. I live in a building where there are a good amount of young professionals. Bump into them in the elevator, strike up a conversation. Yeah. And last but not least, a big one for me as a content creator, but also just in general, regardless, is Instagram. But honestly, Instagram is low-key a dating app anyways, but yeah, people slide in DMs and go from there. But I should add that I never go into a place or a situation hoping or expecting to meet someone. I really just go to have a good time, and it ends up being what it is.
So I went on a date earlier, and I look a mess because I took a nap because the date was so horrible. And it kind of reminded me of why I don't like being a Black girl in Kentucky. It was a really, really good date, but at the end of it, he was like, I don't think it could be serious because my parents would never like accept you. And yeah, so that's what I really hate about staying here. Fucking sucks.
Goes, honestly, I couldn't believe I was attracted to an Asian girl.
I hate that I absolutely have a story to add to the stitch. First of all, if you haven't watched that video, just go watch it. Your mouth will be open in shock at the audacity of these men. But of course, I have my own stories to add. So I was like freshly single, literally walking into this liquor store, minding my own business, and I see this group of guys, and they are buying lottery tickets. And so I like asked the guy who owns the liquor store, like, oh, like you sell lottery tickets here? Because this is when Mega Millions was like over $1 billion, and like at that point, why not play? So the guy was like, yeah, like I'm selling lottery tickets here. So there was this guy, and he was like, I don't really know what he was saying, but basically it boiled down to he bought my lottery ticket in exchange for my number. Which at the end of the day, having my number isn't really a flex. So like, you know, I got a free lottery ticket, you got my number, like, woo, like you're probably never gonna see me again. So anyways, like fast forward an hour and a half, he calls me and is like, I just wanted to make sure that you gave me the right number. Red flag number 1. So I was like, yeah, I gave you the right number. Like, who am I to give you a fake number? Who are you for me to give a fake number to? So anyways, he's like talking, and he's like, you know, you're like really pretty. And, you know, normally I don't really find Black girls attractive, but you're like really pretty. Sir, what? And I don't want to put this man on blast, but he looked like Coolio. Imagine looking like that and being like, I don't really normally talk to Black girls, but you were the exception. So immediately I'm like, no. Immediately, no. I've seen what I've needed to see. No. So like fast forward the next day, he's like, oh, I want to take you on a date. And like at this point, like I'm just being honest with men. Like I'm just like, boo-boo kitty. So I was like, you know, you said you weren't really into Black girls. Huge turn off for me. I'm good. I don't want to go on a date with you. And he's like, oh, I mean, I meant it as a compliment, but okie dokie. And sends me a picture with money stacked to his ear like I was missing out on something. And I'm just like, first of all, sir, whatever I had to do to get that money, I'm good. It will never be that serious. And second of all, not you saying that to me like I should just be like, you gave me a chance? Thank you. Like I'm not doing that. Like I'm just like, okay, well you don't talk to Black girls, so you need to keep it that way forever and keep it pushing. I was talking to my little brother about it. My little brother was like, I mean, that is sort of a compliment, you know, like out of all the black girls, like you stuck out to him. And I'm just like, no, because if you don't like black girls, period, I'm not going to be your token, your little experiment before you go back to whatever you like. And also, it's just very strange to me that people feel the need to let you know. I'm normally not into this, but you, yes. I'm just like, don't be. We are good.
Sucks that as black women, me especially being educated, and I make, you know, a certain amount, the higher you go, the less likely we see y'all, you know, up at the top. So it's like, you mean to tell me there was another black man that was at the top?
That's the problem too. Like,
yeah,
a lot of
women
are looking for men at the top instead of.
But no.
The men aren't gonna like this take, but she makes a very valid point, and it's not even because of her skin tone. It's well known that women like men that are doing better than them. Most women come across and are attracted to men that are ambitious in a way that they are making more money. That man's able to put that woman onto a different mindset. That man's able to show that woman how to make more money. Just level that woman up in multiple different ways. I think the confusion for us men is women don't look at dating the same way us men do. Us men can date a woman that's not doing as good as us and have absolutely no problem. Women aren't attracted to men that are doing less than them. I'm not saying that the man that is doing less isn't worthy of that woman, but we're talking about women nature and what women are attracted to. And to be honest, for us to sit up there and be like, you know what, you're not looking in the right places, or your problem is you're just looking for a man at the top. Bro, if she's at the top, why can't she look for other men at the top? Why does she have to look down? Like I said, women and men are attracted to the opposite gender for different reasons. Fellas, we can be at the top and be okay with the woman that might be at the bottom. Why? Because we value different things out of our significant other.
Can you focus on me? Baby, can you focus on me?